Okay, can this thing see me? So, hey everyone, here's the deal. I bought some D'Addario Pro Art strings to put onto my Taylor GS Mini. That thing has been a solid guitar for the past however many years I've had it, but I am getting more into like finger-picking sort of pseudo-classical styles of guitar that I intend to play like in a sort of jazz style like Earl Clue. So, yeah, I'm gonna head home and see how I go with putting those on. So I'll see you then.
So after that part of the video, I got home in like 40-degree heat and instantly turned on the air conditioner in my house. And I completely forgot to do an introduction on what this guitar is, or what the Taylor GS Mini is for that matter. So yeah, it's pretty much a sort of 3/4 size guitar based on like the Taylor Grand Stage shape. And it's got a 23.5-inch scale length, which just makes it's so nice to play and reach other frets and all that sort of stuff. So if I, like... It just works so well. So, obviously it already has the nylon strings on here, but it used to have Elixir, like, 12s on there. And I sort of just, like, outgrew the sound. I started playing a lot of the finger-picking stuff, and the steel strings never did... And the steel strings never quite did it for me. And I also started to listen to a lot of Earl Clue, and his guitar arrangements are so nice, and the nylon strings are just vital to it. So what I did is that I was going to install all the strings, tie the ball ends to it of the old strings, and just put them into the guitar. So I'm going to run you through that process right now.
I'm not going to run through the process of all the strings, but the process of converting some of the strings from a normal like tied nylon to a ball end remains the same for all the strings. So what I'm doing here is that I've got the ball end of the old Elixir string that's been on there for more than a year. Yeah, that's gross. And then I clip where the ball end is bound. So I'm just going to get that out of there and see if I can use my wire cutters to open that hole. Now be really careful because yeah, this is just really like pointy and somewhat of a sharp wire. Now, I opened it and I freed the ball end. Some very microscopic things happening here. And I've got my 4th string. I've already done this to the E and the A string. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm actually liking the sound of how it's behaving with the mahogany top of the GS Mini. So, yeah, Taylor Guitars does a bang-up job on that. I'm really happy with how that's sounding. Now, we've got the string unraveled, and what I'm going to do is feed it through the loop of the ball end, and feed it again. Now, you want to have a good amount of slack at the end of here, and then have like more than an inch worth of slack on the other side. So once you've got a small enough loop, you just want to take the more than an inch and a half of slack and feed it through, and you've got the tight ball end. Now we're going to feed this much length, and there's a reason why we're doing this, into the hole of the guitar. And as procedure for normal like steel string guitars, make sure it's sitting right on the ball end and tighten it, because we need it sitting right under there, and we are also tightening that knot that we made at the ball end. Now, once we're over here, we're going to feed it through, take that marker off for a second. We're going to feed it through the peg of the D string without colliding with all the other slack that is here. That's just there just in case one of the strings fails and I have to do it again, but it's not that big a deal. And then just 3/4 of a tuner, and I'm doing this because nylon strings are very stretchy, 3/4 of a tuner of slack. And then you want to come, if you're on the bass side, you want to come clockwise and loop the slack under and bring it over. So that is the knot that you're making. And then with a string winder, oh goodness. Okay. You're going to want to start it off by having that knot over there. Without obstructing the view of what's happening. And then you want to loop it in this direction so that the knot successfully ties itself. Now, once it's over there, you can tug on the string, and if that hook there is staying, then you can let it go and just wind it accordingly. And I have done this before, so. Now, before we proceed, I can hear it coming up to pitch. It might push the bridge pin out a little. Just press it back in, and it should be fine. And for like the more coarse tunings, we can just use the winder. And we have 3 more strings to go, so I'll see you all on the other side. Well, funny things just happened, so pretty much I have put the whole ball end tied inside the guitar, and I actually can't get it out now, so that is for now a good sign. But if we want to change any sorts of strings in any sort of way, we're gonna have to get it from the underside of the guitar, and that should not be too much of a problem, so we'll see how we go with that. And the only time I'd really think about doing that outside of a string change is if I'm putting like a piezo system in here, but like this guitar doesn't have any of that. I usually just put a condenser mic on it for like any sort of gigs I have, like church or anything like that. But seeing that I do want to do more like jazz guitar gigs, I might have to get a piezo system in there like sometime in the near future. But yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this. So as you can see, I haven't cut the slack off all the strings yet, but all of them are pretty much on. I'm gonna keep them on for a day to see if anything fails, but in the meantime, I am just cranking away the truss rod, just loosening it up so that it relieves all the pressure on the neck, and it will give the strings a good action to play with. Okay, so I think this is in playing order now. And it sounds so nice acoustically. Like, I used to have a Valencia half-size guitar for when I used to be a child. And this, just as a 3/4 size guitar, sounds so full. I can't even get over this. Like, it's probably on par with that nylon string that Dominic Miller had on Rick Beato's video when he was playing a bunch of this stuff. So, in the spirit of that, let's play a Dominic Miller guitar line. Going slightly out of tune, but that's just because the strings are new. Just one more, and I have to use another chair as my footrest right now, but we'll make do. And when I play that again, I promise I'll get those last notes right.
So now that we're at the aftermath of this video and I'm not wearing the same clothes as I was before, yeah, this guitar is holding up really well. It's already like the end of the day, 10:48. I'm playing past my curfew. Sorry, Mum. What can I do? And, sure, it did take a while to get the strings onto the tuning peg. It wasn't difficult at all, but you just had to do so many winds just because these being nylon strings are way more elastic than the steel strings. And after a while, I was a little bit worried that these strings would slip out of their ball ends, but because of how many times I tied it, it's holding up really well. And another concern that I thought I'd have is the nut, but because this nut is routed for 13 gauge strings, these strings are actually able to slide into this nut okay, and I haven't had tuning issues. And I think the tailors comes stock with a tusk nut, which is impregnated with lubricant to let the string slide freely. So I don't think I'm having any issues there. I'm having really good tuning stability after all the stretching and all the settling that the string had to do. Again, I took the truss rod down. I literally took all the tension off of it. And the more that this neck pulls, the more I'm just going to like do like increments of adjustments on that thing. But overall, I'm really happy with how this turns out. I still at one point do want to get a classical guitar because I do fancy the wide neck a little, but if I'm just going to be like going to work or like going to teach or something, this guitar is perfect for that sort of purpose. So yeah, let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. This is a nice little mod. Like, it shouldn't work, but it just does. So yeah, I hope you all take care of yourselves, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.